Some people are divided by religion, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Some people are divided by their greed, yeah. Some people are divided by deception, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Some have a lot of money but still in need, yeah. The time has come to help your hurting brother. Time has come to think about your sister. Can't turn a blind eye to their need, yeah. Share some love to help your hurting brother. Share some love to help your fallen sister. One God, one faith, one destiny, yeah. It's time for unity, yeah. Deception is tumbling down, live in unity, yeah, yeah. Division must be broken down, unite in dignity, yeah. United under God we stand. Unity is power for all. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Well, everything around us is changing, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nothing will ever be the same, yeah. Limitless scope for transformation, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yet no one has the answer for the pain, yeah. Selfishness and greed have many blinded. Heartlessness has many people suffering. Why can't we see our brothers' pain, yeah? Children are hungry and they are crying. Mothers are hurting and they are sighing. Yet all we care about is gain, yeah. It's time for unity, yeah. Deception is tumbling down, live in unity, yeah, yeah. Division must be broken down, unite in dignity, yeah. United under God we stand. Unity is power for all. Time for unity, yeah.
Things are falling apart much faster than you can imagine. If you do not take immediate steps now to save yourself, it will get very serious very quickly. We must come together now to save ourselves economically, socially and spiritually. You must find a strong support system while you can, because things are falling apart fast. Be smart. Let us come together to survive the perilous days ahead. This is not about who you are or what you have. When the day is over, you will be left to face the harsh reality alone. The days of segregation are over. Don't wait until trouble set in and you find yourself up against the wall. Get registered with Lifeline today to secure support before you need it. Lifeline is not only the support giant of the BVI. Lifeline is the family you need to help you through the difficult days ahead. Don't be foolish. Nothing will get better. Save yourself now before things turn for the worst. Become a registered member of the Lifeline family now and we will help you through the challenging days ahead. You can depend on us. Find us at 4 Mill Mall or call us at 540-4555 or email us at lifelinebvilimited@gmail.com for more information.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to another presentation of the raw truth. And of course, we are very happy to be back with you another Monday evening. And of course, we continue to feature some very important happenings across the Caribbean region and the rest of the world. To those of us who are joining us, wherever you are joining us from, let me thank you so much for joining us. And of course, it gets a lot interesting as we continue to feature some very important people right here on the Raw Truth. And you wonder exactly where it will all end, whether or not we have even started the game as you look at what is happening across the world. Absolutely interesting as we continue to shape our destiny, whether we like it or not, whether it is in keeping with law or not, whether it is in the best interest of our families or not. It seems that the future of many is out of their own hands as people continue to watch and wonder what in hell is happening around them. For those of you who are watching from the BVI, let me welcome you. For those of you who are watching from Jamaica, let me welcome you. For those of you who are in Canada, the USA, Britain, Africa, wherever you're watching us from, let me say a very special good evening to you. For all our chiefs of the indigenous communities across the world, let me say a very special good evening to you. And to all our indigenous peoples across the world, wherever you're from, let me say a very special good evening to you as well. This evening, we have a very interesting guest with us. And of course, you're talking about Chief Constantine Pink, Rudolph Constantine Pink, if I may uh, use his full appellation. It is quite interesting that we have him with us this evening. And of course, we'll be having a pretty interesting discussion moving forward. But before we do that, I'm going to take a short break. And when we come back, hopefully we will have Chief Pink in to have a very interesting talk with him. We'll come back in a moment. Okay, welcome back. And joining us, we have on the line right about now, we have the man himself, amazing, Chief Constantine Rudolph Pink. I'm kind of mixing it all over
Chief Rudolph Constantine Pink.
My brother, how you doing?
Well, a warm welcome and greetings, and thank you guys for having me on your program. And it's a honor to be here as, you know, the representative of this part of Jamaica, St. Mary, known as Scotsall.
Amazing, amazing. Tell me
But
something.
sorry, but
No,
before that, before I do,
Yeah, go ahead. You go
sorry,
ahead.
before I do anything or say anything, I always have to get the habang blown, and I have a young man here right now, youngsters, because we have to teach the youngsters the history. So I'm gonna allow him to come stand up right here and blow the habang.
All right, go ahead.
I'll come sit down right here. His name is Nicholas Townsend. So, as we are all here as we say, welcome in our language, because we, the indigenous people and the island here, have our own language.
Yes.
So we say manti to the men or to the women first. We always address the ladies before gentlemen. So we say mantihara to the women. And then we say manti ababa to the male, to the man, to the man himself. So meaning greetings to one and all from our ancestors and Yah, the creator himself, which in our language we call him Yankee Pong. Yes,
sir. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I could get accustomed to that,
Oh, yes, we always should. Because
yes,
it is our language.
Yes.
Because they could take our language, literally gave us their language.
Yes.
And put our culture one side, because we born as cultural people. We didn't born as no religious people.
Right. Wow. And so, I think the good thing about this, my beloved Chief Pink, is that we're getting back to the place where our culture is becoming absolutely paramount in the lives of our people across the world. And I watch this develop in no uncertain terms as we begin to re-examine our cultural heritage, not just in Jamaica, but across the world. And I'm finding this absolutely very interesting. Tell me something, sir. The Maroon community in Jamaica, the so-called Maroon community, because that now carries a whole different connotation as we move forward. I guess as we get into the discussion this evening, you will have a hell of a lot to say. But tell us what is happening in Jamaica. I saw where the people were raising hell the other day. Big protest down there. Talk about that for a little bit. What's happening down there right now?
That protest was held by a church minister, which once you are also a pastor, as yourself, not yourself, but once you're a pastor, that simply means, he maybe wake up a bit, because he been preaching and get arrested. I don't remember if he was charged, but he called a little gathering at half a tree and said no vaccine, and it becomes like a protest. So It is what the country need.
Yes.
It is what the country need. We need to stand up on our feet and, fulfill the work that our ancestors has fight and left off, which, some of them been tricked, and for over 400 to 500 years, we have been going through all of what we have been going through, same way all what our ancestors fight for, the blood and the life that been taken,
Yes.
We take it and give it away just like that, and give our life to the slave masters.
Wow.
The colonizers.
So moving forward, you're seeing where the general community technically is awakening themselves to this reality. Is that so? Is that what you're seeing?
Yes, because why they are a weakling, only complaints they can lay at the moment. They cannot lay no claim.
Wow.
Because you are in your wrong status. You need to, all of us has to correct our status.
Yes.
Because we all have a birth certificate, ain't we?
There you go.
And then once you have a birth certificate, you're owned by the corporation as known as the Crown.
There you go.
So we come into this name, so-called Maroon.
Yes.
I used to say I'm a Maroon because that's the way I was brought up to, to say, yes, I'm a Maroon. But to further studies and research, to come to my knowledge that The name Maroon is a corporate name owned by the
Yes.
British,
Wow.
copyrighted by the British also,
Wow.
because you have a birth certificate.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
Wow. That is huge. So
it is very, very huge.
so the name Maroon at one point, sir, people took a hell of a lot of pride in saying, "Oh, I'm a Maroon." Now it is worth garbage when you understand it. Absolutely.
But again, you're a Maroon in a sense, but you're a corporate entity. That simply means
Ah.
you are a slave, because the name Maroon only existed in the 17th centuries. Before Maroon, what were our ancestors' name before the name given to the people? That to say, our natural man, woman, and child. We don't deal with
Mm.
indigenous and, you know, all those names and sovereign. No, we don't need to deal with all of those. Those are not the natural living man, living being, living man and woman gave birth to sovereign people.
Yes.
So those corporate entities are sovereign. But I am not sovereign because I correct my status.
Yes.
I am a living man.
Yes.
You're a living man, woman, or child. Today is the starting of the power shifting day, starting
Yes.
6 p.m. I already made my my fire, and I already blow my abeng, and I already play my drum, because you have to interrupt the colonizers. Our power we need to take back our power in our hand.
The thing is this, my beloved brother, and I listen to you very intently as you open your core belief system, which as an indigenous person, or if I should say as a man, the natural
Natural man.
flesh and blood man, um, it- 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 I'm listening to you very carefully, and I'm now realizing that there are so many versions of the same story, which if people are not even careful, we'll get so confused. Even as natural, sentient, flesh and blood men and women, the names that are given to natural people by the corporation itself, is this to confuse the masses to think something else outside of what is the actual reality of our status? Talk with us.
Yes, long time there's brain clogged us, not brainwash, because you cannot wash the brain. You can only clog it up with a lot of things, and we can force things in your brain.
Brain clog, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah. So literally they poison your brain with misinformation,
Yes. Wow.
not first-hand information. You
Wow.
only read from what the colonizers put out there as our history. Is not our story. It is his story, not our story.
Yes. For them story.
A film story and a full story that.
Listen, sir. Well, I find it comical because when I was going to school, I was told in classes that Columbus discovered the Caribbean region. And when what I found very interesting is the fact that when he got into the Caribbean region, he found people already inhabiting the lands when he came there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Very
But
sure of that.
but the brazen thing is that you now hear that Columbus discovered the new world, and all of a sudden you hear that the Queen now owned the lands which were discovered by Columbus, and our people, sir, as brain clogged. Quite a very interesting terminology you use. We're so brain
Yes,
clogged that we can't figure out the practical reality of the truth that these people are lying to us blatantly in the face.
they have been lying to us from ever since. Everything is a lie. Every single thing is a lie.
Wow.
It is man rights things, not basically to say humans. Don't say human, living man.
Living man, yes.
Because yeah, living man create human.
Yes.
Because remember, a Caucasian cannot create melanin or black skin.
Right.
But the black skin or the black woman, the womb, can create all different nations.
Wow.
So they are sovereign.
Yes.
We are a living being, living man, woman, or child.
Yes.
If you correct your status, because the only way you can become a living man, woman, or a child, you have to be correct. You have to correct your status from that birth certificate, which spell your name and it in all capital letters.
Yes.
And
Very-
you know the condition that all capital letters to say. All capital letters represent dead. So you are dead on the paper, but
Oh
you're still
Lord.
walking and talking.
Oh Lord.
Because if you go to prison, the prison would say they receive a body.
Yes.
So if you receive a body, that simply means you receive a dead body. So you're dead on the paper.
Oh Lord. Only the dead is identified in full caps, right? That's what you're saying.
Only if the identification you own all in full caps.
Wow.
In your name spelling all capital, not upper and lower case, not
Wow.
not and also passe syntax grammar.
Yes. Wow.
There's a lot of things to know and a lot of things to learn. Now it's time for knowledge, because knowledge is the
Yes.
key. Originally, they say that education is the key,
Yes. Yes.
but
The,
you have to remember knowledge comes first.
the thing is, at one point, you normally hear that the Rasta man is the only man talking like that. And now it has become commonplace that when the day is done, everyone is now finding out that the things that we have been learning have no value because the truth has been hidden from us. Here you are tonight outlining this again in a way that I, I do hope our viewers will be able to relate to these facts as we continue to get deeper into this discussion. The so-called Maroon community in Jamaica, I have been hearing a lot about them over many years. And as a result of their existence, I'm sure many of us have become sensitized to the fact that we have indigenous peoples living in different parts across the world. You have the Caribs, you have the Moorish people, you have quite a lot of indigenous peoples across the world. But I think the life of the indigenous is yet to be understood. The rights of our true peoples are yet to be understood and embraced. And I think this is why this discussion this evening will absolutely be very interesting and quite important as we move forward in the discussion. I think you have a lot to talk with us, to share with us in relation to what is happening in the so-called, and I keep saying the so-called Maroon community, because now that you have realized that the name Maroon is owned by Britain, which is quite new to me, of course.
Believe it or not.
Yes, quite interesting. And the name sovereign and all of that, all these things are handed down by corporate entities when you check it out. And I think there's a lot of merit to this, as the British monarchy call themselves sovereign. I think that they own that name as well, if you think about it. But the whole point now is that the system of indigenousness, hidden as it may be, is barely understood, perhaps by a few people, including yourself, as an Indigenous man who have lived the life. You have traveled on your Indigenous documents. You have been all over the world as an Indigenous. You don't use a regular passport. You don't use a regular birth certificate. You don't use nothing regular that the regular man or woman would use. When we come back, we are going to have you open that a little bit as we look at your life as a chief, as you travel across the world, and the things that you have been doing as an Indigenous man, not personal.
The natural man.
We come back in a minute.
Things are
Natural.
falling apart much faster than you can imagine. If you do not take immediate steps now to save yourself, it will get very serious very quickly. We must come together now to save ourselves economically, socially and spiritually. You must find a strong support system while you can, because things are falling apart fast. Be smart. Let us come together to survive the perilous days ahead. This is not about who you are or what you have. When the day is over, you will be left to face the harsh reality alone. The days of segregation are over. Don't wait until trouble set in and you find yourself up against the wall. Get registered with Lifeline today to secure support before you need it. Lifeline is not only the support giant of the BVI. Lifeline is the family you need to help you through the difficult days ahead. Don't be foolish. Nothing will get better. Save yourself now before things turn for the worst. Become a registered member of the Lifeline family now, and we will help you through the challenging days ahead. You can depend on us. Find us at 4 Mill Mall or call us at 540-4555 or email us at lifelinebvilimited@gmail.com for more information.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Let me welcome you back to the Raw Truth. And of course, tonight we have on the set with us Chief Pink, Chief Rudolph Pink. And of course, he's the Maroon Chief in Jamaica. And of course, he's one of these people who have been living that life for many years after he returned from England. Came back and decided to serve his people by developing his community in a way that today they have some very interesting amenities there as a result of his intervention in the development of that community. And of course, it is nothing to take lightly when you have people who really love their people, men who love their people, men who will work hard to build a community. You can find it nowhere else except in this man called Chief Rudolph Pink. And of course, he's here with us to talk a bit about his life as chief and of course his travels and all of that, just to get a bit more of his background. Chief Pink,
Yes, my brother.
you have been living the life of an Indigenous for how long now? Tell me.
I've been living the life of Indigenous, I would say, since I returned from London, because I've been eating what I grow and
Right.
grow what I want to eat.
There you
And
go.
I've been drinking the natural, alkaline water from
Yes.
the
Man, you need to
mountain.
you need to get some of that over here, man. Real stuff that is, eh?
If we need to organize to feed our people across the world,
I agree.
because originally this island Jamaica used to be the bread basket, the food basket for all the rest of the Caribbean.
Yes.
So we need to get back to that, because our nations are all over the world, and then they cannot be eating. We cannot allow them to continue to eat this poison, this chemical, Monsanto, and
you're
all of
right.
that to be killing them.
You're right. You're so right.
And our nation here on this island in Jamaica, we have a lot of fruits and everything what grows on the tree, bears on the tree, and whenever time it bears, majority 99% of it fall on the ground and rot.
Wow.
So we need to have a resource of development, our factory to do something about it, or we allow some of it to ship across the sea to our people, our
Yes.
natural people who want to live natural, eat organic food and drink organic, the alkaline water to live
But
longer.
there,
Because we have to go back to
that
the oral traditional way of history and living.
that community has grown a lot, Chief Pink, and to be very honest with you, there has been a drastic shift to to organic produce nowadays, in a way that I don't think the market is able to keep up with it at all, because many people are realizing now that their health is dependent on the natural foods that we grow. Not many people are farming again, and I'm not sure what has happened to, to, to farmers. Everybody is most people are feeding on the supermarket shelf, and that is where we're getting sick, and diabetes and high blood pressure and all kind of garbage that is killing a lot of people. So maybe we need to really take a serious look at this for sure, because we have, I'm sure that Jamaica has a very large farming community, which continues to sustain that land with natural foods. I think it is something we really need to look at. But moving forward, sir, the whole process of documentation, um, from a natural man or natural woman's point of view, this is yet to be understood by many people, and I think it is confused by many by virtue of the different concepts, which I think have technically uh, uh, polluted the process. And when the day is over, many people cannot even distinguish between what is corporate, or what is an attribute of the corporation versus that of the natural man or woman. Can you outline that a little bit for us so we understand the difference between the corporation and the status of the natural man or woman? Because many people are yet to understand that in a way that makes sense.
All right. The difference between the corporation or the corporate entity simply means that if you have been baptized or you have been christened and you also been voting in the political arena, you are a corporate entity. And also the birth certificates don't already classify you as a corporate entity, because your name spelled in all capital letters. So I am here, I have to say we are here. No, we are for the living, yeah, for the living, with the living, by the living.
Wow. For the living, with the living, by the living. That's an interesting one.
Yes. So we here now in Scottsall, and not just in Scottsall, because it does not come under the Scottsall, because our natural people who want to live naturally and woke up, not wake, woke up out of their sleep, because basically once you're asleep, that means you're dead anyway, because the spirit is the body.
Yes. Yes.
So
Wow.
we know name our name now as Scots All State of Atlantis.
Ah. Explain Atlantis to us, sir. What is Atlantis? Which
The
part of which?
original, yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
The Atlantis are, the original name of the land. The Atlantis used to only have water, land, and spring. When it says water, land, it means springs and river and land and air only, not oceans.
Mm.
So that means before the great earthquake.
Mm. So Atlantis, would you and I'm asking now because based on the knowledge that some of us have, Atlantis then would be classified as the Americas per se. Is that where we are?
Well, yeah, because the name Jamaica the Highlands, commanded the Americas.
Yes. But a gentleman told me last night that you're not supposed to call it island because when you say island, you're putting yourself back on the corporate
Yes, state.
status. He take off the IS and leave the lands. Tell us about that one.
Yeah. There's sometimes, because when you're brought up into the colonization, it's hard to break away from it straight away, immediately. Gradually,
Yeah.
slowly, we all, we learn how to break ourselves away from the English, the Queen's language.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the English language, from what you're saying to me, son, I've been getting this sentiment of late very strongly, that the English language itself has been bewitching our people by virtue of our misunderstanding of the serious connotations thereof.
Yes. Because once you learn English, because remember, our Queen Nanny, she did not came to Jamaica with the name as a Maroon. She came from the Gold Coast of Ghana in Africa.
Yes.
So when they took her to say basically a Maroon, leader at the time in Moortown, name was Colonel. Harris.
Yes, there you go.
Colonel Harris. He was a senator.
Yes.
And he lobby for granting for our queen. He didn't really, I don't think he was comprehending what he understand what he was really doing. But lobby for granting Nanny, our queen, to put on the $500 and to become a Jamaican hero, to say hero. Not for Jamaica. Come on. For living people. Come on.
Yes.
Now you call that null and void because that's a corporate entity.
Yes, it is corporate. I totally agree.
And a corporate status.
Yes. Wow.
So who's benefiting from that money? We should to say that fictitious piece of paper we should put our queen on, which has no value. And our queen, it is disrespect.
Wow.
Very big disrespect for our queen to be on that $500 bill of Jamaica.
Wow.
It's a big disrespect for our ancestors.
Wow.
It's a big disrespect also for the gods and goddess of the land, of the great Atlantics.
Wow. Quite an interesting perspective, sir. I'll tell you something. Very interesting. I've never heard it this way before. We have with us here tonight, Mr. On the Raw Truth this evening, Mr. Chief Rudolph Pink. And of course, he's a very interesting chief of the so-called, and I keep saying the so-called Maroon community in Jamaica. A very outstanding gentleman and a very outspoken one as well. One who the government doesn't play around with because he knows his status. He knows who he is. And he has been protecting this for a long time. He has been fighting like hell to protect his people in Jamaica, in the parish that we call St. Mary. Yes? And of course,
Yes,
it seems to me like from what I'm learning, that the Maroon community, and I call it the so-called Maroon community, has technically withered away because our people do not understand their value and has sold it for a morsel of meal, it seems. And currently, Chief Pink seems to be the only chief that is left to uphold the status of the indigenous men and women of that community. And I'm going to ask him to outline what is the Maroon community looking like right now, Chief Pink? How has it grown or developed over the past years as we know it? Tell us about that.
I would say since I was a little boy, because I born and grew up in this Maroon community, and this community we call a Maroon community, because my father, as in the name Bernal Pink, he teaches the community. He was the head Karamanti teacher and leader of the community, who teach about the herbs, also the rituals, the ancestor way how we do things, and teach the community, everyone in the community, even the same ones they call colonel, the colonels, which are appointed by the British, to say. Yeah. So I grew up in the culture, and I love my culture, and I love my state, to say community, what they used to call, we call it when we're growing up, our little community. And anywhere you grow up as a child, you have a special love for that place. Once you have, a childhood. When I say good childhood, I didn't go to no university, because university, only graduates thief and murderers. So
Oh my goodness.
but I study since I've been back. But since I've been back since 2014 to 2015, I've been back, from London, returned back home. There was no running water in no pipes. There was the same way how we grow up with the springs. So I look into it and I say, as a property developer, or to say as a developer, because I used to do development property, industry in England. As a developer, what I have to do now, find a way and a source how to get my people some water.
Yes.
So I find that, as we search the springs, and we look into it, and we say, so when the rain fall and the spring dirty, what we are going to do? We have to go make sure we go lock off the water and all of that. So the Most High, Yah himself, brought us to a little secret location, which have some water just pumping out of the ground. And I was like, this is the best water, because it's been filtered, and you're coming out of the earth. So that means it must be filtered. So, we come together with the community and, a few people, guys, and I talk to them and I say, we need some assistance, and we need to get you running water, standpipe in your yard. And, I spend most of the monetary part on that. That's not a problem for me.
Right.
I don't complain about it, because I have to look after my people, because I love my community.
There you go.
Yeah. And we make the catchment, and after we make the catchment, now I do the plumbing myself, do the piping up of the water to make sure it reach to everyone, home. Because I used to do plumbing, as I said, development in the UK. So I know about all the skills. Like I'm very multi-skilled in every field where you can think of on the building.
Wonderful.
So, yeah. So since 2015, no one close enough wish it could run and stop, because the liquid, the funds, the monetary part run out.
Right.
So we didn't get no assistance from no one else, but our own people and me, myself. Right? So since then, they have been drinking clean and fresh water. And it's 6 years now. I'm going.
Wow.
And I maintain it myself. Whenever time the pipe bursts or anything, I make sure I tell them, you let me know and I'll come and fix it. But don't leave it to run, because when the water wastes, especially good water like that, purified water like that, you've been sinned, because to waste water is a sin.
There you go.
That's the biggest sin. Yeah. So that's a development I brought forward to the community. And then I also built this museum, which I'm sitting in at the moment.
Right.
The museum holds our heritage apart, because as according to how much I can accumulate to put in the museum for, as to say, our memory bank
Right.
for the younger generation, just like Nicholas Townsend just now with Blow Their Bang.
Right.
When I returned back to Jamaica, no young kids couldn't blow no bang, no young kids couldn't play no drums. Because since I come out of it from a child and go and live my life, or to say looking for better it is here, not out there. Whatever you're looking for out there, it is right where you are.
Yes. But tell me something, sir. Tell me
Yes.
something. The whole matter of you speak very fondly of the fact that you have been very involved in the development of your community. You talk about building a museum, which of course is a place where you store all your art, your artifacts. Um, the wider community, the people always talk about tourism and tourism development and all kinds of crap. You seem to maintain a very naturalistic approach to your community. Tell us about that. Do you do large buildings in your community? Do you tell us a little about that?
Do I do what? Repeat, sorry.
Like put up large structures in your community, big buildings and all of that. Talk
Well,
with
yes.
us.
You see, it is 21st century now. We can continue the whole ways or we used to, and all we're gonna do is get the same result
Right.
over and over. So we need to change course now. How we
Uh-huh.
do things,
Ah.
so our people can benefit,
Right.
from the resources of the land,
Right.
and we can have people come in and teach them how to grow naturally, grow the food naturally without this Monsanto and fertile, with some Rasta call it dirty Liza. Yeah, with fertilizer.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. We don't want no chlorinated water to drink either, because the chlorine becomes rock, hard as rock inside of you.
Wow.
So if you drink only natural water, every morning you wake up, you need to drink a glass of lemon or lime water. That prevents you from cancer,
Wow.
develop cancer. Say, you can also do it before you go to bed,
Yes.
and never eat. Eat before 3 hours before you go sleep, as they say.
So
And also, we need to start eating live food. When I say
yes.
live food, we need to stop cooking the food, because when you cook it, it's dead. So you're eating dead food. So you're gonna have, they call it niggeritis, and you fall asleep when you cook because it's dead.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when you eat the live food, even pick the okra off of the tree and heat it same way. Pick the apple like when you pick the apple when it's ripe and heat the apple same way, or whatever is ripe on the tree, banana, whatever it is. Eat it same way. There's a lot of things what they told us is bad for us, but turn it the other way around, because it is actually good for us when we look into it.
Wow.
Because back in the day, when my mother or my grandmother peel breadfruit, then peel off the skin and then cut out the breadfruit heart.
Mm-hmm.
And they may take it and boil it and give the pig. And they don't realize that they're giving the pigs the best part of the food. That's why the pig's stronger than you.
Yes. Wow.
So,
Wow.
so the breadfruit heart, it's of the seeds. That's the breadfruit seeds. So if you heat that, boil it same way and heat it, trust me. Remember what you
Wow.
get from seeds. Yeah?
Wow.
Is it vitamin B17, something like that? You vitamin from seeds.
Wow.
And also sprouting. We all have to try and learn how to do sprouting. Sprouts.
Yes.
and eat the sprouts because it give you more energy. Instead of eating this big bowl of wild dumpling and much in pega bread, wild breadfruit and banana and chicken and whatever it may be, all those things. You eat more greens and you have more energy and you're full up same way. You blend certain things, you grate certain things, and you juice certain things. So that's how you live naturally as the natural being, natural living man. And there so you gain your powers which you need to just like how the ancestors used to do it. And we have to go back to our oral traditional history, traditional way of living, traditional way of eating, cleanse our body,
Yes.
get out the poison out of our body, beat up the charcoal itself and drink it with water. So it take away those pharmaceutical poison what you consume in your system.
Wow. Quite interesting
Yeah.
indeed. And of course, for those of you who are just joining us, we have with us Chief Pink. And of course, he's one of the renowned chiefs in the Maroon community in Jamaica. And of course, he'll be with us tonight on The Raw Truth. Please share this live with your friends. It will get a little interesting. And of course, it is something that we need to share because it will definitely explain a lot to us as we move forward. The Maroon community, sir, and again I put Maroon in quotes, the natural lands, the natural water, and I'm sure you probably might be thinking of exporting some of that water. It would be good to get some of that over here because the bottled water as we see it, the pH levels in most of them is absolutely garbage. Natural water, natural foods, this is something that's critically important to our survival. And of course, you have all of that at your disposal. The point is, when you look at the indigenous communities, how well have the people maintained the tradition? Are we losing the tradition? Have we shifted to corporate status? What has been happening within the Maroon communities? Talk with us a little bit about that.
Wow. It is most disgraceful to know and to speak about. But first and foremost, I can also apologize for the people because you see, who know better do better.
There you go.
Yeah. Because, the thing about it is, since I returned back, I see so much garbage truck throwing all over in the rivers, the spring gullies, back at the houses, the plastic bottles, the paper plates, cups, the party bottles, the engine oil, which they drain from the engine, train on the bank inside, literally poisoning that part of land. It is really disgusting, I would put it.
Wow.
No, we are not looking after our land, the land, the way we should. The Most High himself is very, 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 very upset. Very. There's a lot of things going to happen because he's upset. The Creator is very upset because all who say they're going to the church, to praise to who? And to praise to what? Church and state. We trample church and state. I trample church and state. Without no apology. I have, we keep a function, or to say every end of month, called Trample Church and State.
Wow. Every
end of the month. Because we have to do what we have to do. We have to slew, if we ever go slew the dragon, we have to slew the dragon.
Wow.
If we have to go take the bull by the hand and bring him down, we have to do that. And if we have to bell the cats, we're gonna have to bell the cats.
But it's to our shame, sir, and it's very unfortunate that you have to be talking like this. But it's an absolute shame. The way we have, what we have become is nothing further from disgraceful, if you ask me. And you're perfectly right. It's absolutely true. And yes, And past us all, whatever we have become, people are watching it. They know something is wrong. Many of them are still going to some of these churches. They're not speaking out against it. They continue to embrace a system that is working against themselves. Yes? Their families are
Yes.
hungry. Their communities are falling apart. Nobody's doing anything about it. And then everybody talking about God. You absolutely wonder. I wonder which God some of
Everyone,
us are talking about. It's a disgrace. You're right.
it
Absolutely.
is a disgrace. Yes. Everyone is talking about, you know, the blood of Jesus. You see what I'm saying? I see on a video, you know, which come on my my group. This woman, this black woman, you know, she take the vaccine, and she now says she never believed to say the madnik. There's some you can stick. She put a fingernail clip on her shoulder, yeah, where she took the
Mhm.
vaccine, and it's stuck on it, which I don't know, which I see it, and she said, "Oh, you know, there's nothing can come up against her. The blood of Jesus is that." So guess what? You already take the job, so so you are a robot.
Yes.
There's the blood of Jesus they injecting at you.
Listen, sir. Religion really has destroyed a lot of us, you know. You make me laugh.
We
Listen,
talk
sir.
it like a joke, but it is serious, you know.
My brother, we have become such a bunch of jackasses in the name of God. That is disgraceful. I'm having a serious problem with it. And our ignorance, the very Bible that we read tells us, well, that religious people read, tell you that my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. It is ignorance that is destroying us. Pure
Yes.
ignorance.
And it's not so much as only ignorance, because the colonizers know what they are doing to the people.
You bet they know.
The people just don't aware, because once the people are aware, it means a war.
Wow.
Because if you're gonna have the plane in the sky, you know, to say they're going to spray this chemtrail to try and cover the cloud, to try and cover not the cloud, the sun,
Right.
block the sun, block the, you know, to make rainfall and all of that. If you go up against the creator, it is a serious consequences to pay. You're
You're
gonna
hurting yourself.
modified,
Yes, you're right.
genetically modified humans are living man. You're going up against the creator word and the creator work. So it's hell to pay very soon,
Wow.
because our ancestors are awoken now. Because we have to awake them to help to fight this battle again.
Wow. Wow.
To get into us, we are our ancestors anyhow. We have to know and learn ourselves the traditional, which most of us still have it inside of us, because we born as natural talented people. You know, just now, before, when I was having my show, before at 6 p.m. when I blow the bang and I do my, you know, ceremony before this interview now, I went after the fire and everything and not the drum. I went to have my shower, and you know, in the shower, well, as just starting the shower, you know, there's a party leg run from the drainage system, run right up from my foot, and I feel it. I stamp him,
Wow.
because I am doing
Wow.
something right.
Wow.
We are doing something correctly.
Wow.
There's
Wow.
no joke and doubt about it.
Wow.
I'm not afraid.
Wow. Amazing. We have Chief Pink with us, and of course, he is an absolutely amazing person, a man, because we don't all the corporate terms you might imagine. It's absolutely crazy. Big knowledge here for those of us who are interested in the whole matter of the natural man and woman, the status of the natural man and woman. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be looking at what is happening in the Maroon community in Jamaica. And of course, this will be a very interesting discussion as we continue to move into the rest of the evening. Share the live, share the link with your friends. Do not move, because this is going to become a very interesting discussion as we move into the rest of the evening. So we come right back in a minute. Don't ever touch that dial. We come right back. To all our friends who just joined us, let me welcome you to The Raw Truth. And of course, this is your Monday evening program where we bring to you very interesting guests from across the world. This evening, we are having a chat with the Maroon chief, and I put Maroon in quotes because it's discovered that Maroon, the word Maroon, is owned by Britain. Britain called the indigenous peoples of the land Maroon. And of course, that is what they have done over many years. They own the patent to a lot of the crap that is around us. And of course, the chief is denouncing anything that has to do with the state, and perhaps even religion. I think that is what he means, because the religious sect across the world has been creating probably more harm than what good it has been doing to our people. And the same thing for politics. The church and the state, absolutely, an absolutely amazing situation when it is understood. Not a joke at all. Our politicians have done more evil than good for the people. And church has become technically the same thing. No one is helping anyone anymore. The church has become so obsolete in our time. And all the pastors, most of them, is all about is the offering. They don't care nothing about the people per se. Bring the money. Bring the money. Once you bring the money, everything is good. You don't have no money, you don't nobody see you in church. And that is what it is. It has become quite a mess. And of course, the good chief told us earlier that every month they keep a special meeting to trample religion and the state. It seems to me that religion is quite interwoven into the state, and it's an absolute shame when you get to understand it. Let me ask you this, my beloved chief: the whole matter of of mining in the Maroon community in Jamaica. This has been a very serious matter over recent times. I've been seeing some presentations, some videos where the people are very concerned as to what is going to happen. You see dust flying all over the whole place, big machinery all over the place, digging up the earth and all of that. That has been a great concern in the indigenous communities there. And of course, I'm not sure exactly what is happening with government and our Maroon peoples in that part of the world. Can you outline this for us? What exactly is going on there at this point?
Well, in the Maroon indigenous community, I would say also we'll put it in the cockpit country.
Yes.
You know, the most, I would say, mining is going on, which need to be stopped for a long while. You know, I would say from since 2017, 2018, I think it was, when myself and others go to a march at Heroes Circle. For no mining, we go to a march at Albert Square in Trelawney. And we also go to a march at Stewart Town, you know, in the same Trelawney, to say no mining. And, you know, then the Prime Minister himself did invite the Maroon leaders, you know, to, at Parliament at one at a time, to literally telling the Maroon leaders what they are planning to do and all they're going to do. They don't ask no permission. But I see, and we all see, you know, why they did not have to ask no permission because you're a slave. A slave don't have no say or no talk. A slave has no land.
Wow. But the
And
Maroon
they classify
community,
you as
sir,
a slave.
the Maroon community it is one of the oldest indigenous communities across the Caribbean region. How then have has the Jamaican government gotten to the place where you have no say on your own land? What kind of thing is that?
Well, they signed something called a treaty, which I see a lot of Maroon leaders or colonels who call themselves colonels now
Yeah.
is trying to use to say declare land, and the island of Jamaica wished the British made that null and void or null and void from in the 18th centuries. And then they come and give independence 1962. To who? They put you independent right back. Straight independent.
Mm-mm.
And you celebrate to be going inside the pen, dancing and whining and drinking and drinking their poison, sugarcane alcohol
Wow.
and being brain clogged. So they know what they were doing. Because remember, the treaty did not written or write or draft up by the Kojo himself, legitimate Kojo, or none of the Maroons. Because when they say they appoint colonels, the British appoint colonels. Colonels are military because Charlestown used to have a white colonel named Colonel Five. And Moortown used to have another colonel called Portland, Colonel Portland. So those were the colonels who round up Paul Bogle to be killed and his followers. So,
Wow.
or you can say you're indigenous or you're sovereign and you have a Caucasian or a white man ruling over you as a colonel. Where is the military background? He is a colonel from the British Army, of military rank, of course. So when they turn around and appoint our people as colonels, because they appoint me as colonels since 2016, and I realize what the name colonel means and represents. It's just a title. It doesn't carry no weight more than a big name.
Wow. Wow.
So, United Nation, even though we know UN, under passe syntax grammar is UN meaning no, IN mean no, NO mean no. So they are no nation, even though they highlighted the so-called indigenous people or the Maroons people. They say Maroon because when they invited me, myself, and the rest of the colonels, January 2019, to meetings in Kingston at the Four Seasons Hotel, around 4 day and nights, and then invite us to Trinidad and Tobago, and in the same January, which I was literally poisoned before I went because I didn't understand or comprehend the yellow fever vaccine. So once you get that vaccine, yellow fever vaccine, you know what it means. You do your research, about vaccine. So it's literally a poison. Every vaccine is a poison. I know personally. Every vaccine is a poison. Every pharmaceutical is also a poison. Our natural people need to go back to the herbs, the healing of the nation, back to our natural status.
Wow.
And we will live longer. We can sustain and continue to live on to prevent all these so-called diseases
Wow.
and all these so-called pandemics and agendas what they has for us planned
So
and prepared for us.
tell me this, sir. The as you say, the whole matter of independence was absolutely a hoax, because now the people are still under corporate control. Um, and on top of that, the 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 mining continues, which is an infringement of the natural rights of the people living on the land. Uh, any move by the government to correct the situation? I see dust flying all over the whole place and people cussing and going on bad. What is going to happen with that? Talk with us.
What's going to has to happen with that? The living and natural people who say represent the kings and queens, or to say the gods and goddesses of the land, have to get up and stand up for our rights and defend our rights, defend our lands, and defend our people, and defend the resources to feed our people. Look after it, look over it, make sure you're multiplying to growing, and also, if we don't get up and stand up now, we're not gonna know what hit us within the next 2 to 3 years by 2025. We all going to be robots. If we all take the vaccine, we are all robots. Because that means to say they don't need the police, they don't need the army, the military, they don't need the nurses, the frontline workers, they don't need them. They're going to get rid of them first. So because they're going to be used computerized to control people.
Wow.
That's the agenda.
Wow. We have with us Chief Pink, and of course he's I met him recently. An amazing gentleman, and of course humble gentleman. I love when leaders are humble people. I love when leaders understand themselves well enough to be reachable, to be touched with the infirmity of their people, to be able to do what is necessary to uplift and liberate their people. And this gentleman we have here is one such, with a heart for his people. He has been committed to his people in the St. Mary area of Jamaica, and of course, he continues to be a source of inspiration to that side of the indigenous community in Jamaica. And when he decided to come on tonight, I thought it is an absolute honor to have him here to share with us some of the developments that are happening in the indigenous community in Jamaica. An absolute honor having him here. The other thing, sir, when you look at the I'm not sure what is happening here. I'm not seeing him at all.
Can you see me now?
No, your screen went black. I'm not sure what's happening.
It still went black. Oh! I see. Is the phone is need charging? It comes up back now.
No. That's all right. No,
I could switch to the next phone anyhow. I can switch to the next.
Yes, if you can, I'll be right here when you return. The whole point is when you look at what has been happening in the indigenous communities, you look at the minerals in the land, you look at the resources that are available, you look at the fact that many people would probably want to take away the land from these people. And it is quite interesting to note, and it's many acres of land. The acreage is absolutely phenomenal. Yet, with all the people living on the land, you still have sources in government that seek to take the land back from the people. I'm not sure exactly how we could be like that as a people against our own people. It's not making much sense to me at all. And as a result, these people have to be fighting like hell to protect their lands and to protect their rights and to keep themselves alive, even on their own land, because they have lived there for years. It's their indigenous right. However, if they're not careful, it could be taken away from them. Um, yes, his phone is. It seems it's giving him problems because his screen is black. We have Chief Pink with us, and of course, quite an interesting character, quite an interesting gentleman. We wanted to look at the fact that he travels anywhere he wants in the world on his indigenous documents, and no one um, can dispute the fact that he is a credible, natural, flesh and blood, sentient man. Um, he has been traveling for years, and no one gives him any problems at the airports where he traveled on his indigenous documents. And of course, people would not believe that that indigenous people reserve the right to travel where they want and be who they want to be, unmolested. It is their God-given right. And of course, the Global Tribunal will tell you very plainly that it is treasonous to mess with the unalienable right or the inalienable rights of indigenous peoples. Absolutely very serious. I think the only people right now in the world which has any sense of rights are the indigenous peoples. Yes, the autochthones of the land, the original peoples of the land. And I think it is something that we need to understand and embrace. Melanated people, if not the direct descendants or direct autochthones by virtue of the direct descendants or direct peoples, the original people, are the descendants of the original peoples. And as such, we reserve the right to live freely on the lands and enjoy the fruit of the land. It is our right. These days, everything has been taken, everything is sold, the water is sold, everything is sold to the original people, because we do not understand that we reserve the right to protect ourselves as the autochthones or the original peoples of the land, whether you are the first descendants or descendants, the first peoples or descendants thereof. It's your right. But because no one has been telling the original peoples of this, they live as fools and in their own land. And when the day is done, exploited left, right, and center without any regard for their rights, which is absolutely disgraceful. This gentleman is an absolute example of an autochthon or the original man living on the land who has been enjoying the fruits of the land. And it's an absolute amazing position, I think, to be free on your own land without control from the state, without any form of prohibition, to be the natural man or woman that the nation in the indigenous community was designed to be. Tell us, my beloved brother, you have been traveling for quite a while. Tell us about your original documents. How have you been able to utilize this to your benefit? It's different from the regular passport and all of that. Talk to us about that for a minute.
No, right now I only I travel on with my living man's status documents as an ID also, and I do my life document, because there's a life document you have to take yourself to say from the corporate entity, from the birth certificate to the living man, from the dead entity to a living man, woman, or child. I have done that, but I never travel overseas with it, because since I returned back, it's a couple of months. No, I would say 1 year now. I realize that I've been trying to do the document from 2015 to say create my own ID and ID for my people, but I wasn't doing it the correct way. So it's last year now, it's over here now, since me, myself, and 4 other guys around the world England, Canada, you know, and also, you know, we have people in St. Lucia, all over. We come together and team up and we study together. And once we study together, we find out the truth.
Yes.
You know, we have walked up. So when I travel with my document, my name is full colon Rudolph. Yeah. And also full colon pink.
Yes.
So it's literally syntax, passe syntax, grammar. So that's the only way you can correct your status to become a living man, meaning to say you do a life claim. As I
Yes.
said before, all the people around the world, most, not all, but most of the people, 99% of the people around the world don't realize that they are a slave because of the birth certificate.
Wow.
And they've been doing the same thing over and over, the same way, year in, year out, centuries in, centuries out, like, you know, all back in the day, certain things used to done is not done these days, you know, so they do it their way, or the colonizers taught them. So they follow the church and state.
So tell me, sir, the whole point of syntaxing, because that is a new way to do documentation. The system of syntaxing, I was told, is the new way to correct the ills of the English language, which, as you rightly pointed out, has a specific way to get it done. You have been engaged in syntaxing. Tell me a little about some of the words that are used in syntax language or in normal language, which when syntax, it changed the whole meaning of it. For example, give us a little briefing on that.
Just like as I said before, the UN, IN, NO, they all meaning no. And if you study the Black Law Dictionary also, there's a lot of things which we don't know, which correct some of what we already thought we know. So we have to go do the documents this way, how it need to be done to correct your status. But we are, to say, renovating your office at the moment, doing some work in the office, you know, so therefore we can launch out and do what we are doing.
Right.
Yeah. So we have to do things the right and correct way, because we cannot have the people say we're gonna give you documents or make sure you do a live. We cannot allow you to stay in the dead status, as your name is spelled all wrong, mean to say in all capital letters. To be correct, your name, the spelling is to put it in upper and lower case.
This is one of the areas, so which I think while I can understand the drive to ensure that that documentation is syntaxed, which I totally understand what it means to write, to state a claim in its forceful form, unviolated or undiluted by any form of misunderstanding. And it is interesting, my beloved viewers, that the English language as we know it, when you look at how we write the normal stuff, as you mentioned, anything with on, incorrect, on. I was told that is is also that also negates the essence of what you are trying to say. And it's very interesting that syntaxing has now become a very interesting form, which I think all indigenous peoples have to learn. And it is also very interesting that all indigenous peoples have mastered this art if they are to become recognized by the corporation in a way that he was having problems earlier to travel and could not, the documents just didn't add up until he had it corrected. Very interesting, which means they know exactly what this is. But unless you dig to find out, you will not know, which means a lot of things are being hidden. The other part of this is the whole matter of corporate control, which has been manifesting itself at the level of banks, at the level of your driver's license, at the level of your land tax, at the level of social security. It's a hell of a lot of things, which when you understand all of these things from a corporate point of view, it is not making any sense at all. And the point that natural peoples are now getting to that place where they're realizing that it is exploitation based on the fact that the laws of the land have spoken against it, yet governments continue to shove this down the people's throat so they can control them. I find that very interesting indeed. Very interesting as well that our indigenous peoples possess the right to reverse these things, to protect themselves. This is an absolutely very interesting position to understand. As we move down to the bottom of the program, sir, because here you are, you have corrected that status. What would you say to anyone who seek to become an indigenous, to retain their indigenous right from the point of a chief? Talk with us.
I would say to retain the rights of your naturalness, natural living being, natural living man, woman, or child. I wouldn't say indigenous because we keep going back to the incorrect way of spelling, you know, because once you own a passport, a driver's license, a birth certificate, a bank card, anything of the corporate entity, that means you signed a contract with them to rule and control you, your wealth and every single thing, your lives and every single thing. So you need to take yourself from all those contracts, and you be the living man to own your own, would say, plane, to bring yourself on a level playing field. Because right now, we are not on a level playing field, a lot of us. So if you don't correct your status, you cannot be on a level playing field. So these contracts, what we've been continue to sign in our signature, remember from back in the day, our ancestors used to say to us, be careful how you sign your signature because you will sign your life away. It must be a reason. So what we have to do now is to take ourselves from all these contracts, and you can make these contracts null and void, and you can also have the rights to own these contracts. So you tell the corporate entity then how you want to do business and what the fee schedules are to do business with you. For instance, you go on the street and a policeman stop you, and you produce your ID to him as a living man. So once he read that ID, he's supposed to know there's a fee schedule if he continue to hold you there under your, against your own will. There's a fee to be paid, and it starts at one. Well, we don't want to go down into that now. Next time we get in.
Yes. 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 That gets very interesting indeed. Oh my goodness. It is just so much to learn. And when the day is done, I'm saying this to the benefit of all viewers. We will from time to time be bringing very interesting people into our meetings. And of course, this is something that I'm sure all of us will be able to embrace and appreciate. Um, it must also be understood that our beloved chiefs across the world, our natural men and women who are enjoying that status, um, it is very interesting to observe their mode of operation, how they conduct themselves, how they live their lives. And it is nothing new, really. This is the original position of our people. This is what we were born into from the beginning until it was taken away from us by the corporation. It's quite interesting to note that. And of course, as we wrap up, my beloved chief, what might you have to tell to say to our people watching this program as we close? Talk with us.
To our nation, our natural living nation, man and woman, gods and goddess, we need to teach the knowledge, the oral knowledge and history of our ancestors, and the right way of living, the correct way how you're supposed to live, how you're supposed to, survive. We have resources on our land. We need to go into manufacturing some of those resources. We keep saying we ain't got no money. We have wealth more than money. The money is gold and silver. That's literally money, not fictitious piece of paper where you can print anything or put your face on it and it becomes money. It becomes, So to our living people of the Atlantis, we need to wake up and realize what atrocity is upon us at the moment. Because here in Jamaica, we have a lockdown from Saturday to Wednesday, but as a natural man, or if you have a natural woman, you're allowed to travel around and do what you're doing, but there's no business place open because the whole complete island, because we don't have our own self-reliance. We have the resources, but we don't. There's a lot of things been holding us back from cooperating, uniting. Unity is strength. And a chain is strong as the weakest link. So if you have one weak link in the chain, it's not strong no more. It's no strength. So we have to make sure we come together as one natural people on the land and live as one and come together and unite. United we stand, divided we fall. A lot of great men passed away during the centuries. For us to be here right now, to say we are living life. We ain't living no life no more at the moment. It is time to live back our life. Now is the time, starting from 6 p.m. this evening today. And today dates, it is the 6th of September. Until the 15th of September, we all need to blow a bang, blow our kachi, blow our goat on, knock our drums, do the ancestral way of rituals, the ancestral way of spirituality, and come back to our natural life and turn over and tumble down Babylon, church and state, because the church is your slave master and the state is your also slave master. And I would say, thank you for having me, my people. And I wish you all a living wonderful in life, of prosperity and health. Health is wealth. Eat right, drink right, sleep right. Thank you very much for having me, and looking forward to come on the program on a more regular basis so that our voices can be heard, and to know and to let the people know what the corporation as the government are doing to them. So if you don't wake up already, when you wake up, you will find yourself still in the pen. Wake up and take yourself from the pen, from the corporate system, and own your own self, own your own vessel, your own ship. Put yourself on a level playing field. When I say ship, we're not talking about ship, level playing field. Because all those ships is maritime law, common law. We don't deal with that. We deal with natural and divine law.
Well, there you go. And of course, we thank Chief Pink for coming on here. Quite a very interesting presentation this evening. And of course, for those of us who have an interest in becoming or in restoring your natural rights as an autochthon, the original man or woman of the land, yes, you can restore your natural status, and it's very easy to do if you understand exactly what is happening. Of course, this is why we link with the professionals, we link with the people who have been living the life all these years to ensure that we get it done right. That when you have retained your status, you can live and enjoy it. Walking in law, that you can declare your status in a way that makes sense to you, your family, and to those you care about. We thank Chief Pink for coming on, Chief Rodolph Pink, and of course, quite an interesting man. Very interesting. I met him very recently, and of course, I had to arrange to have him featured this evening because it makes a lot of sense when you understand some of the experiences he has had. Went near death, tried to kill him, but he's still alive. Been through hell and back. He's the only one who is speaking out against the madness against government in Jamaica right now, out of the what you call it, the indigenous community. But when the day is done, he's undaunted, because when the day is done, he understands exactly what he needs to have for his people. You will hear from him again, and of course, we thank you so much, my beloved brother. Keep it safe, and we catch up another time. Keep it safe.
Peace and love, my brother. And we won't, certain words we ain't gonna use because it's go against naturalness, and we would say lawful, not legal.
That's
we don't
right.
deal with legality. We deal with lawful. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. And of course, every Monday evening right here on The Raw Truth, we bring you a special guest from someplace in the world. We have some very interesting people, as you know. We've been presenting people from other parts of the world, from different places across the world, right here on The Raw Truth. We thank Chief Pink for coming on this evening. And of course, who will be on next week? We'll be at some other place in the world. And of course, trust me, we continue to present to you some more interesting guests. As I close, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are perfect, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. Remember, your brother needs you. Your life is not your own. You're supposed to live to serve your brother, your sister. If you're not serving your brother or enhancing his quality of life, your life is vain. But But when you fulfill your purpose in helping others to fulfill their purpose, then your life will be absolutely 100% a happy life. Do not live for yourself alone. Bob Marley said, my life is not for me alone. If my life is for me, I don't want it. That's what Bob Marley said. Yes, let us live for our brother. Help our brother. Stand for your brother. Share with your brother. Yes? These are tough days. COVID-19 is mashing up the whole place, and goodness gracious, life has never been so tough for a lot of people. Let us share with one another. Share with one another. You have a little something, share it. When you give it from a good heart, you feel the energy that comes at you from the universe. When you give to your brother or your sister from a pure heart, it is an absolutely wonderful feeling when you share from what you have with your brothers and sisters. This is the time to do so. Until we catch up next week, one love, one heart. Keep it safe until we catch up again next week. So long.
Things are falling apart much faster than you can imagine. If you do not take immediate steps now to save yourself, it will get very serious very quickly. We must come together now to save ourselves economically, socially and spiritually. You must find a strong support system while you can, because things are falling apart fast. Be smart. Let us come together to survive the perilous days ahead. This is not about who you are or what you have. When the day is over, you will be left to face the harsh reality alone. The days of segregation are over. Don't wait until trouble set in and you find yourself up against the wall. Get registered with Lifeline today to secure support before you need it. Lifeline is not only the support giant of the BVI. Lifeline is the family you need to help you through the difficult days ahead. Don't be foolish. Nothing will get better. Save yourself now before things turn for the worst. Become a registered member of the Lifeline family now, and we will help you through the challenging days ahead. You can depend on us. Find us at 4 Mill Mall or call us at 540-4555 or email us at lifelinebvilimited@gmail.com for more information.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.